another island.
When I got off the plane in Resolute last year, the situation here was really grim. I was greeted directly at the airport by the leader of the first construction crew, who handed me an ultimatum. They weren't committed to the project. It wasn't important to them. It was just a job. At the first sign of adversity, they were willing to quit.
I'm finished talking about it. I am so irritated with the things that you said in your email, that you had the audacity to say the things that you did. I'm not quitting. Yes, because you're trying to make an unsafe thing, like some of the other things that you've done, the projects that you've done.
You're just a consultant to the Mars Society.
Hey.
They're not your... We had no trailer, we had no crane, and we had no crew, and completely demoralized situation here at camp, and it had to be turned around.
Things only begin to change 1 week after the accident, when Zubrin gets out to Devon Island with a new construction leader.
If we're going to go to Mars, we're going to have to take risks.
This is actually a very serious matter. Hurting somebody could not only stop this project really forever. If somebody gets killed, maimed, I will stop the project for one thing.
That adds extra strength.
Pascal and I, actually the very first time that I met him on the island, I think his words were, "You aren't supposed to be here," and he just turned around and walked away from me. And I'm not used to having people be that rude to me. I mean, on a construction job, I probably would have smacked him in the nose.
This is basically 6 5-foot sections at 30 feet.
And Frank's role was just very much unclear in my mind, at least.
Horizontal braces.
I had no idea about his background, about how qualified he was as a construction manager and an architect. We just simply didn't know each other.
Basically, somewhere in that floor you've got the airlock that's built like
After debating many alternatives for erecting the habitat, they zero in on a solution that Pascal thinks is safe.
And this, right on
that would work. This sounds like a reasonable solution.
Okay. Well, let's also have them bring over the trailer. On the first human mission to Mars, plenty of things are going to go wrong. We're going into a totally unknown environment. But if you send the right kind of crew, you're not sending robots, you're sending people. And they're going to find a way out of it. We took parts of a wrecked baggage cart from Resolute Airport. We strung them together with some 2x4s. We made a big trailer, and we were able to move these huge wall panels from hundreds of yards away down the crater slope, bring it all here where they could be built. We had to balance the panels on it and like a kind of a rickshaw and roll them around. Success!
We used parts of the crane that got smashed and sort of jury-rigged it and bolted and glued it together. Created our own winch and pulley system.
We've moved the pieces in place. We're ready to go. We think we have an alternative construction technique to erecting the walls. We're going to build the floors out of wood instead of fiberglass. Where there's a will, there's a way.
1, 2, 3, lift!
Now, we may or may not succeed, okay? But we're not going to fail for lack of trying. Okay, keep going.
Okay. On the count of 3, we're going to lift. 1, 2, 3. The plan was to put 2 panels together and then put a leg on it and then to tip it up onto the leg.
Man the ropes!
Using guy ropes and a winch to lift it up. You know, you kind of just tip it up from one end to the other. Go ahead, John.
What do you think, John?
When the first panel went up, there was a lot of excitement around me. But I sort of was standing there with my arms crossed going, I don't like this. There's something wrong here. It seems too complicated, number one, and number two, it's way too heavy to be lifting by hand. You know, we had 6 or 7 people underneath it at one point for maybe 10 or 15 seconds, and I was scared to death of that. Because if the panel ever went, I mean, if it even touched someone, it would smash them. So, while everybody else was jumping up and down saying, oh boy, we did it, I was thinking to myself, this isn't good.
Right now, things are going very well. The habitat is being erected. This is for the Mars Society, at least a historic moment. My concern still at this time is that we proceed with everything we can to keep this operation safe.
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Go! Lift! 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 As we lifted it up, the second panel hit the guy wires that was holding the first panel. And right at that moment, the wind caught it. And that's how it crashed.
Got a little out of control once the belaying line from that side was slacked in. Gotta take it a lot more carefully.
God, I kind of went, oh my God, oh no. And I remember I just sat on it and put my head in my hands and went, oh, this is it. But I knew that if I lost confidence that the whole thing would sink, so I just I let myself wallow in the bad feelings for about 2 minutes and then jumped up and said, okay, let's start on the next one. There's a lot of good ideas that don't work, and so you kind of have to go through those.
Yeah, I know it. I think we're learning what we're doing, and it's getting easier, it's getting faster, it's going to get safer.
1, 2, 3.
It's going to be pretty. The new plan was to take the two sections apart and put the panels up one at a time, which would reduce the weight that we were lifting from 2,000 pounds to 800 pounds, and build a platform for that panel to rest on to bring it up to the right height. And then as we went around and got 2 panels up, we would put the leg on in place while the other panels were standing up.
Since we're missing them.
So we would just go around the structure. Okay, attach a wall, another wall, then a leg, then a wall, a leg, wall, leg, and just keep going round and round until we finally got all around. Got the thing around, it didn't fit. The 12 wall panels were up, and there was a 1-foot gap between the 12th panel and the first panel. We put a come-along around the entire cylinder and squeezed it together into place.
Difficulties were overcome and challenges were met, and the next thing you know, after 12 days of round-the-clock work using the benefit of the midnight sun, all of a sudden we had a spaceship. We had a lander sitting on the rim of Halton Crater. It was just an incredible sight.
The situation we were in is very close, I think, to what might happen on Mars to a crew, where they have something crash, something happen that they totally didn't expect, and they have to improvise and sort of wing it.
There's no question in my mind that this thing was successful by a combination of sheer will, but also of luck.
What we've had to do is think of alternative solutions, of how to put things together with different pieces that were meant for something else and make it work.